Welcome everyone to today's Twitter session. These educational EIPs are brought to you by XT Exchange. My name is William, your head of XT Academy, and of course, as usual, your AMA host. Before we get started, just a quick small introduction of the exchange. Now, the company was founded in 2018 and currently serves more than 7.8 million users worldwide. We have about, give or take, 1 million active users and about a total of 40 million users in the whole ecosystem. If you have an open account with us, definitely consider doing so because we have new token listings and new products now more than ever since our rebranding last week. So definitely come check it out. We have I would like to say the word competitive, but truth be told, if you actually open a bunch of accounts with other centralized exchanges, you'll actually find that some of our APR and our savings and staking services are the highest in all centralized exchanges. And the reason being is we don't take any transaction or fees. We don't make money off of those services. They're purely for our users, unlike some of the bigger exchange. So that being said, the company, due to the whole rebranding, really reaffirms its commitment to both excellent services and, of course, innovation. For those who are not aware, we also have very interesting new services that other exchanges don't have, and that's actually one of them would be the XT Cloud Mining one. And there's actually 3 new cloud mining projects just recently. There's the Raven Coin, RVN, CFX, and ETC, and you can actually buy your own well, technically invest in your own mining machine. You can and you cloud mine it by actually letting XT handle all that work for you. And you can also introduce this service to someone else and you actually earn a 10% commission, right? So I think that's really neat. Definitely go check out the XT Shark Fin because that product is just completely new. You can 8% guaranteed APR. If you quickly check out some of the other changes, you tend to see like 6%, 7% guaranteed APR, and you can see the fluctuated extra APR between like 10 to 12. So if you do a quick comparison, you'll see that actually does have the highest APR rating. We're pretty proud with that because we're not trying to make money off of this. All the money goes to users, so that's something another check it out. For those who are not aware, SharkFin is basically a structured wealth management product and basically allows you guys to invest your stable coins like USDT to earn that stable 8% guaranteed APR. At the same time, earn more than that if the market is going the right direction, right? So there's no service fees, right? But it guarantees that investment principal, right? That's really a pretty popular with some of the VIP users, if I may say so myself. All right, so that being said, let's jump into today's topic. All right, let's get started. That's enough of the news for today. And today I do want to talk about something that's really starting to be a lot more significant than it was 2-3 years ago. And that's actually social media platforms using blockchain technology. Now, as of right now, the more dominant social media platforms obviously are like Instagram and of course X.com, which you should call Twitter, right? I still call it Twitter to be honest, because it's just so much easier to understand it compared to saying X.com. But I have no doubt that in a few more years that's going to become more the norm. The X.com name. But that being said, we are seeing a slow adoption and this new trend of Web3 social media platforms. I think this whole trend, like, I would love to see it like gain like a huge adoption with like the younger generation, especially those who are in like junior high school right now, or maybe like another 4 or 5 years when it gets a little bit more, the market gets a little more saturated and mature. You start seeing like, the junior high school kids or elementary school kids getting into like, high school, and they start seeing like the Web3 social media platforms as the norm, is the main dominant social media out there. I think these provide a whole bunch of like benefits, and if you guys can actually capitalize on that, I think you guys would be like one of these main winners, kind of like those guys who used to start doing YouTube when it first came out and it wasn't really popular, and if you just continue making content on YouTube, you'd be like so famous because you're actually one of the few people who actually make content. The same thing as like I guess you can say like Instagram as well, or like Twitter. um it's kind of, but like if the conversely, if you stay on like say Facebook, I mean like how my parents use Facebook, right? I still use Facebook, but like to connect with some of my old friends, right? All like like people, all my friends who are like 10 years younger than me, they all use Instagram, right? And I remember like having to download Instagram for the first time 5 6 years ago, and I was like, oh, I'm not comfortable with this. But that's what happens in social media. Some old platforms get kind of phased out and they cater to more of an older crowd because it's an older platform, right? And we're talking about all like the dominant platforms right now, they're Web 2, right? They're based. You don't get to own your content. You don't get to own your identity. You don't get to own any kind of asset that is added or attached or included onto your profile or whatever tweet or whatever message you do on Facebook. That's not yours. But I think like if you see it from another perspective, the worst part is actually the security part, because we already know for a fact that Facebook actually collects our user data and sells it to other companies. Then that's actually why you start seeing like specific ads on your computer, because they know exactly what you're trying to look for. You want to buy a new sofa and you're talking about it on Facebook. Next thing you know, like all you get like on the side like ads on your like browsers like, oh, sofa from IKEA. And you know what? That's actually because someone's buying your social media data. Okay. And I really want to talk about, there's so many interesting benefits that are associated with Web3 social media platforms that you just don't find in the older Web2 social media platforms. If you guys are aware of this, you guys might be able to take advantage of this. Like, and it's not even just like for personal use, right? Think this way, like you guys are like, especially for those in school, when you guys graduate, by the time you guys graduate, they're probably, and if you're interested in like doing some kind of like social media management or any kind of marketing job that's related to, of course, a company always needs social media influence and branding purposes, you know, you can be one of those staff, this new staff that actually gets this and be able to help your company build its brand by utilizing these new Web3 social media platforms that the older marketing staff has completely unaware about, right? So hopefully that today's educational AMA will really be able to help you guys better understand this growing significance of the Web3 social media platforms. To be all honest, I just did not see the relevance of this in the last 2 3 years. There are a few good examples I will mention later in the AMA, but because of recent, and I don't mean recent, I mean like literally the last 2.5 weeks. This is the reason why I chose this specific topic to talk about, because I think that this is going to be the next big thing after real world asset tokenization. Because that's just brings up a lot of liquidity from traditional banks. But if you're talking about B2C usage, or C2C usage, and social media usage, the Web3 social media platforms are definitely the ones to go. And if you understand this, that's not only helps you, socially, but more importantly, this actually opens a lot of like work gateways, especially for those who want to like, find a job in a Web3 industry doing social media. Actually, this is actually the best, easiest junior position to get into. You don't need like specific new skill set like me doing like technical copywriting. Like you really have to understand like what you're writing. You have to understand code. You have to understand how to write, professionally, academically. You have to have like a linguistic career like me. But for social media management, you don't need any of that, guys. So this opens a lot of doors. And I really think that this is going to benefit so many people on a very different level of analysis. All right, so let's just jump in. So you guys might be wondering, okay, William, what on earth is Web3 social media platform? Please don't, just don't jump into it. I have no idea other than Facebook or maybe just Twitter, right? Well, okay, let me just quickly go over it, quickly give you guys a quick introduction of what on earth Web3 social media platforms are. And I think that these basically think of it as, if I make it simple, it's like X.com using blockchain technology, right? So it's like a fusion of social media with blockchain finance, like decentralized finance. And this is really an emerging trend because you start seeing social media meeting financial independence using blockchain technology. I know this is the one of the reasons why Elon Musk, I don't know if you guys realize, but he is so desperate to pushing their remittance feature on X.com, because a lot of content creators, they're starting to figure out, should I start spending time, energy, and attention on X.com, building on X.com, or maybe just make money through AdSense, through YouTube or some other social media platform instead, right? And that's why once you start having the ability to receive funds through your followers, through people who like you, send you, even if it's like zero point 0.5 USDT, right? Like, you're able to monetize your followers. And that's why Elon Musk is so desperate to get that remittance function down for X.com, because that breaks banks. You have to understand that breaks banks, right? You don't have to go to your bank to send a remittance and then spend literally $40 to make an intercontinental money transfer. It's just ridiculous. Right now, you can do it through social media. And this breaks a lot of things. That really changes the whole thing. And I think and you got to give props to Elon Musk. He's so good at like breaking like traditional walls and barriers now. It's like him making what was it like called SpaceX, right? You know how back in the days, like the space industry or like the rocket industry was all very like closed up. You have to like be part of some kind of government to be able to take advantage of sort of these functions and features and benefits. But now he was able to break all of those commercial barriers down, and everyone can even, if they want to launch your satellites, you can go talk to SpaceX. You want your satellite launched, you want your satellites made, you can actually go talk with SpaceX as a B2B initiative. So it's all possible now with Elon Musk, and he understands that the moment you add blockchain technology onto X.com, you break so many barriers. You literally put banks in a huge disadvantage. They lose so much money, but because if you can just easily send money from your X.com account, the X.com, like Twitter, let's just call it Twitter, right? It effectively becomes a remittance company, right? Like you see all these other companies that deals with like intercontinental challenger banks remittance services, right? Like PayPal. Literally, you put PayPal at a huge disadvantage, right? Because in order to like make a remittance through PayPal, you have to sign up, you have to use it, right? But like if you're already using X.com, you're already following people, you don't have to ask someone for their remittance PayPal account. You already have them on X.com. You see where I'm going with this, guys, right? So these new Web3 platforms, they really enable you as a user to really have more control of not just your content, not just the tweets you guys write, but here's the kicker. The data that you have, the data that you add, that's all going to be ERC-721, like NFTs, right? But on top of that, you're going to be able to monetize that. You're just going to be, and here's the bigger kicker with the monetization part. There's going to be more than one monetization method. And the more well aware that you are with these new monetization methods through Web3 social media platform, like soon to be X.com, the much easier, better chance you're going to be able to get that Web3 social media manager job position that's going to pay, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 USDT easily, especially if you live in a third world country. That's like, God, that's like 10-20x the average salary in some people in, South America, right? Sorry, that's probably like 30 times more, right? So like this really does open doors, guys. Like you can probably, but on top of that, you probably don't even have to like work for someone. If you actually understand this yourself, like sooner or later, when X.com add these remittance like services using blockchain, private blockchain, you're going to be able to like start your own business and collect money through Twitter. All right, call it X.com if you will, right? So there's so many like opportunities and benefits as long as you understand this, right? So when you start diverging significantly from these centralized, Instagram, Facebook, and even the current Twitter Web2 platforms model, you're going to see a lot of new people being able to take advantage of it financially. And of course, the downside is a lot of other bigger companies out there, they're going to start losing a lot of money. But hey, that's just what happens when there's new technology being on top, right? One of the primary advantages of Web3 social media platform, and I think that we're going to see a lot of this, is the democracy aspect of content monetization. You're going to be able to see a lot of like how votes are going to be able to start dictating how people make money through content creation. So unlike traditional platforms, when you start seeing like, they really primarily rely on like, very basic advertising revenue, like AdSense, like how, if you guys ever made like YouTube videos, you have to use something called AdSense. It's also owned by Google. And because YouTube's owned by Google, in order for you to make money through YouTube and through ads, you got to make your AdSense account, making sure that's tied to YouTube, right? And and the thing is, it's really volatile. It's really controlled by the Google platform itself, right? So, let's just say you're making like videos of anime, Japanese anime, right? And then for some reason you accidentally added some kind of like audio part that's a little too long, or use some kind of video clip that was like, you know, like what's a copyright that's by some kind of company, you're just not aware of it. Well, guess what? You're going to get an email from YouTube, and you might get like a 3-day block or warning if you're lucky, saying, oh, I'm sorry, but like you broke this, smaller rule, and then you won't be able to make money for the next few days. For all I know, that could be like your way of like, supporting your whole family. So the thing is, you don't really have much control when you're actually building and creating content on these Web2 platforms. And that's where the Web3 platforms, they really empower you guys as just the regular user to be able to make money, to monetize directly through the peer-to-peer transactions, right? So wouldn't it be amazing, like if you guys, like take this as an example, right? You guys, make a video using your current smartphone, you taking it, you up it on YouTube, you're talking about some kind of, cool, I don't know, Indian curry in Mumbai, right? And guess what? People like your video. Wouldn't it be amazing if they could like literally send you USDT directly through YouTube by just clicking a button, press the donate button, and then you have like 3 options that pop up directly. It's like, 1 USDT, 5 USDT, 10 USDT, you can customize that. But the fact that you'll be able to have that function embedded in YouTube, making YouTube a Web3 content creator platform, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't it be amazing that you'll be able to make any kind of YouTube video and you don't get banned for it? So I think that'd be amazing. I'm sure like if you do something crazy, is that something illegal, and they'll probably have some kind of democratic governance system where everyone votes for your video to be banned, or your account to be banned for like a week or 1 month, or once you get like 3 strikes or something, through some kind of democratic method, right? Not just through like the Google company. The moment they just say, look, yeah, we don't like you because, I don't know, you're doing something that's political and we disagree with it or something, that your account can be completely blocked literally the next day. That happens, guys. I'm not, don't quote me for this, but it does happen, right? So this really means that creators can really receive direct money, right, from your audience without any middle person. You don't have to worry about YouTube ever taking your money or telling you, hey, unless you actually receive 80 USDT or more, you won't be able to withdraw your money. For those who are not aware, that's actually how AdSense works right now. I'm not too sure exactly how much limit it is. So the last time I checked, it's been a while, but the last time I checked was about 3-4 years ago, and it was in JPY because obviously I worked for a Japanese company at the time, and I was helping them manage their AdSense account. And I remember like, unless like you actually made like 10,000 JPY, which is around like, $80-$70 at the time, you're not allowed to withdraw your AdSense profits from your AdSense Google account. So your money is basically stuck there until YouTube says you made enough money otherwise, right? So, and for some people, like, making $40 is more than enough for living certain parts of the world, but you're still not allowed to be able to accept that money. Now, through Web3 social media platforms, that's like hopefully soon to be X.com or some new other ones that I will mention later, you're able to accept money directly. Guess what? There's no middleman. They just use blockchain tech. They send you that USDC or USDT directly, and bada bing, bada boom. It's in your wallet. You can spend it. You don't have to satisfy some kind of condition that we have now, or depend on some kind of stupid ad algorithm that, unfortunately, I'm going to be honest with you, YouTube uses ad algorithms to dictate how much your video gets fed on the top or not, right? So there are those aspects, that these concerns that we have now, that they're all going to be addressed, right? The thing is, just the inherent decentralized nature of these new Web3 social media platforms are going to be enhance not only the features and benefits you have, but also, more importantly, the security. And I think the bigger kicker is the privacy part, because I'm not too worried about security. Google's a big company; they have their stuff mostly taken care of, but that's debatable because they've had a few exploits before. More importantly, I'm actually more concerned about privacy, and that's actually the reason why a lot of people do not put too much sensitive information on Google Drive. They actually run their own NAS, a 24/7 server that's always online, but you can always access it through the cloud, right? And it's a really big, privacy issue, right? So when you start taking advantage of blockchain, but okay, maybe that's the wrong way of saying. Once you start using these companies like X.com, say Twitter, leverage blockchain technology, these platforms are going to be able to offer a lot more transparent and a lot more of a secure way to manage your personal data. Now, don't get me wrong. Let's just say, if Elon Musk does decide to use a private blockchain, which is fine in a way, because at the end of the day, they're going to keep it end to end, and you have a smaller attack surface, so you're going to have potential smaller exploits involved. If they do use a public one, I think that'd be great, especially if they start rolling up and using it as a public blockchain, I don't know, Ethereum layer 2, like Base or Optimism or Arbitrum, to have a backup copy of their old blockchain archive data. I think that'd be interesting too. We'll see where that goes, right? I think once you start having your ownership of your data through either NFTs or being able to create all your data and store them as NFTs, I think that's going to be able to provide a lot more unique future opportunities compared to what we have now, the centralized servers that we rely on now, right? And this really reduces the risk of data breaches, guys. But more importantly, what I'm actually more concerned about is actually the misuse of data. And that's why I do not post any new pictures on Facebook, because hey, Facebook loves to sell your data. And that's why I don't just update it anymore. I use it to talk with my mom once in a while, because old generation uses Facebook, but tell you, that's just not the safe place to leave your private data, right? Because they get sold to all the companies out there. They want to use marketing purposes, right? And I think that really adds that extra layer of trustworthiness for users to really share and interact, guys. All right, so you're probably wondering, okay, William, thanks for the kicker, saying thanks for all the heads up now. I have a better understanding what on earth social media Web3 platforms now. So what are the implications of this, right? Now, okay, I do think that once we start having these more mass, bigger, wider adoption, I don't think the moment we have a bigger adoption, say North America, in America, and in Canada or something, I don't think that's going to be able to push Web3 social media enough. I think it's going to have to be a lot more broader adoption. You got some people using it in Europe, some people using it in North America, some people using it South America and Africa and East Asia. I think that's where it's going to start seeing more of a bigger effect, a more things are going to go in a lot more faster. They're going to 3x, 4x. You're going to start seeing multiple factors of adoption instead of a gradual one. I think it's going to hit us really hard in a few years, because next you know, you're going to all the other kids are going to be using it. The only way for you to talk to people who are younger than you are through these new social media platforms, right? So that's I think a good example was, what was it, TikTok, right? That just came out of nowhere, guys, and look at how many people use it now. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I do understand that there are certain potential concerns and the controversies around TikTok in North America right now, but what I do want to highlight is their mass adoption. It just came and it hit like no tomorrow in North America because it was already trending in East Asia, right? So once you start seeing, like, I think another good example was like, the COVID-19 pandemic, right? You start seeing social media just going crazy. That was basically how you connect. That was your daily life, your social life. That was actually how you do business, because guess what? No one goes out and everyone's on stuck with their phone or their iPads or their computers literally 10 hours a day, right? So I think a lot of many individuals just basically turn to like TikTok and YouTube to really generate income, because what else are you guys going to do stuck at home, days on end during a pandemic, right? And on top of the fact that, like, you start seeing, like, all these centralization, like having control over your monetization, and that's going to be like I think more and more people are going to be concerned about that. And I'm just hoping there's no second or third pandemic after this, let alone a Cold War. But if you do, guys, like, everything is going to like be pushed to the social media again. Like if we do see some kind of crazy like Cold War between China and Taiwan, because I don't know if you guys are aware, that's like a big geopolitical concern lately right now. You're going to start seeing like all these like countries getting like dragged into it for better or for worse. And the next like just like everyone like is going to start using social media like a lot more, because what else are you going to do when you start seeing bombs flying left and right? And like the whole economy is going to start moving to social media, and that's why these like Web3 platforms are going to be so much more important. Oh my God, I have so much to go over, and I think like I'm going a little bit too slow. So I'm just going to start jumping into a few examples now. All right, so the very first example I do want to talk about is Lens Protocol. So if you're not aware of what Lens Protocol is, that's totally fine. It's founded by someone called Stani Kulichov. He is the creator of Aave.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
If you're a big DeFi user, you should have heard of this big. It is the biggest DeFi platform out there with the most liquidity locked, and they have their own their SocialFi platform called Lens Protocol. And right now, it's operating using the Polygon blockchain, and it really aims to redefine the current social media landscape and industry through decentralizing the whole aspect of it, right? So their whole core principle right now is to basically provide users like you and me with something we call true ownership. You actually own every single data you write and draft and share, and all the social interactions, or like NFTs. I think it's really cool. And basically they're encapsulated, they're saved in the form of ERC-721 NFTs. Those are basically the same NFTs you see on all these popular NFT platforms, right? So that whole approach basically ensures that you guys, as well as me, just the regular users, basically have full control over all the content, and we can basically transfer these control over to other people, right? Across various different applications. I'm not sure if people like even aware that like Lens Protocol was even built on the Polygon blockchain. Like, even though we don't see it, like, I'm just gonna give you a quick spiel of Polygon blockchain. A lot of people just don't see like the main, like the B2C usage of Polygon blockchain, because a lot of people start using Base and Optimism and Arbitrum, but Polygon has a lot of big companies adopted them. So I think Lens Protocol is a huge example, right? All right, so that being said, I do think one of the interesting features of Lens Protocol is their on-chain social actions. Okay, so basically every interaction you have on Lens Protocol, whether you make a post or you're following someone or you like the post, everything is executed on chain. No joke. Every like you press, every tweet or re-comment is saved on chain. So basically, that not only like ensures transparency, guys, but that basically has a whole new layer of security, right? Compared to traditional social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram, and I think I probably have to highlight TikTok, right? So that's why I really do think that Lens Protocol, I think they're going to be one of the really good options out there. They're pretty popular right now in Europe because that's where Aave is based, right? But I've yet to see prominent adoption in East Asia, because we do have a few other social media platforms that use blockchain technology in in East Asia right now. And I don't want to mention about them, but I do think Lens Protocol is definitely one of the bigger players out there. Developers right now basically can build on Lens Protocol. They can build their own social media application directly on top of it. And this really creates a more, I guess you could say, more of a diverse ecosystem, right? And I also think that whole composability aspect of allowing other developers use their platform, as well as like just regular users like you and me, to really experience various different functionality, especially more like tailored usages, to be able to provide a lot more use cases for us because of there's that composability aspect. Now, recent development now, I do think that it's really interesting that the whole Lens protocol network is actually starting to use ZK Sync technology. And I really do think that that's going to be helped the whole protocol to be able to scale a lot more. I'm really looking forward to how that's actually going to go. That being said, if I remember correctly, there has been some really interesting changes and developments with Lens protocol. I think they just got like just got a new valuation. I think it was like around like $500 million or something. So like once you get this valuation out, guys, you're gonna start using. It's just another prominent reason why people should start using Lens Protocol as the next social media platform. Because guys, it's valued at $500 million. You guys have any idea like how much Facebook is valued back in them, or like Instagram? It's a lot more than 500 million. But you know, I think they like were seeking like, I don't know, like 40 million, 50 million of a deal right now, but like they're valued quite a lot right now. So, and I have no doubt this is going to just grow a lot more. All right. So if you haven't checked out Lens Protocol, definitely go check that out. There is another one another Web3 social media platform that I do want to mention, because I do think that this is going to be part of the future as well. Not to say that Lens Protocol is like bad or like, you know, the competitor. It's just like, you know, it's like seeing how Facebook and Instagram and X.com all coexisting with each other right now. And that's actually another platform called FriendTech. So if you haven't heard of it, don't worry about it. But if you have, you probably know that's a really notable Web3 social media platform right now that's really significantly impacted to really add a lot of interesting value to the whole social fi landscape, right? Excuse me. So for those who are not aware, FriendTech was launched on the layer 2 base blockchain and created by Coinbase. And basically what they do is they integrated social media with very interesting financial benefits and incentives, right? For those who want to create more of like a creator's economy. This basically what they do is they bond this like curve mechanism, and they basically allow you to buy something what we call keys to basically have access to basically private chats on, and even though it's used on the blockchain. And these keys allows you to enter these specific chats with individuals using Twitter accounts, right? Or X.com accounts. And this basically makes a very interesting exclusive environment that you can interact and, of course, as well as monetize your social interactions. Say if you're giving some kind of, let's just say like some kind of like Web3 social media platform AMA, people can send you money. Like as of right now, if you guys want to send me like 50 USDT, 50 or 0.5 USDT, you guys won't be able to. I literally have to tell you my, you know, some kind of like wallet address for you guys to do so right now, right? So that's, you see, there's that huge different divide, right? Another really interesting part of FriendTech is that they have this, they're really progressive in terms of like their mobile app compatibility right now. And because they have that, they allow you to make really seamless transactions through their wallets right now. And I think that design choice really makes it a very simplified, easy to use app. Like I think my mom, even though she barely knows how to use like Facebook and talk to me, I think she'll probably be able to use FriendTech, even though it's blockchain. And even though she doesn't know anything about blockchain, I have no doubt that she'd probably be able to learn how to use it because it's so user friendly. And I think that makes it such a more compelling reason to use these Web3 social media platforms compared to traditional apps, or even compared to like decentralized application, because like for that you have to like, you know, connect your wallet and then you have to sign using the wallet and go back to the app, right? So once even though they have some little, I guess you can say like some issues. Okay, let's just call it issues for what it is. They have a few backend issues with like, like the response in terms of transactions. I do think that Friendtech has made huge gains. They got so much attention lately. If I remember correctly, they are actually creating their own blockchain. I think this is actually like recent news. It just came out like a week and a half ago or something. Yeah, that's right. So Friendtech they're leaving Base right now. They were created on Base, but they're actually creating their own native blockchain right now. Use some kind of system, system from some other company. So I do think that this is it says a lot, because for those who are not aware, making your own blockchain is so expensive. There's so much like fees associated with like maintaining your own service to build this blockchain and making sure this gets decentralized and a whole bunch of computers around the world, right? It's just so much money you have to go into it, right? So I really do think that Friendtech and their total value auction is just going to keep going up and over. I do think that their revenue is exciting. I do really can't wait to see their valuations like sometime, like, another year or two, once we actually get some interesting valuation. We're probably going to see a lot of information out of that. All right. So that being said, I really do think that we're not too far away to see more and more people start using these new Web3 social media platforms. But on top of that, I just can't wait to see Elon Musk start adding remittance to X.com, because that is just going to make a huge dent in not only like Lens Protocol and Friendtech, but also you see like like the Ton network, right? Like being built on like Twitter, on Twitter. They're being built on Telegram, right? The instant messaging app. That's going to be such a huge challenger, rival to all those remittance companies, the traditional banks, but also like, Stripe, right? As well as PayPal, right? These are like game changers. That's why you see like Ton Network gaining like so much since like the beginning of the year. Their gains are just insane. We're probably going to see something similar with like and the Twitter, X.com valuation, once we start seeing people like being able to remit money through internally through their own X.com account, right? So as we start seeing all these really interesting social fi movement gaining a lot more traction over time, not transaction. It's basically we're basically seeing Web3 being built in front of our eyes, guys. Like when we start seeing these small little wins for all these various different platforms, whether it's X.com or Lens Protocol, Friendtech, or even like was a PayPal or whatnot. They're not like a social media platform, unfortunately, but like, you know what? Once we actually start seeing all these small little new companies start adopting, this is the new way to make remittances. Ultimately, we're going to see DeFi, a lot of DeFi principles being basically integrated in social media. Like if I had kids, maybe in the next 5-6 years, and my kids were probably going to grow up thinking like, all right, dad, send me money through X.com, send me money through Lens Protocol. They're not going to like ask me through like cash or anything. That's like basically how they actually deal with cash, right? So I really do think like, once you start seeing this technology start being a lot more equitable and a lot more dynamic throughout the world, and I have no doubt this is probably going to be a lot more highly adopted in certain parts of the country, because certain parts of the world, sorry, not country, because certain countries, they just have a lot more better understanding and a lot more less sophisticated fintech adoption, because like we try to do this in like North American or like Canada, things just take forever, right? Because they have like a more sizable ecosystem, the old traditional banking whole ecosystem built up already, compared to like say like South America for that matter, right? So I really do think this is going to make a huge difference. All right, so I think I have plenty of time for Q&A time. Hopefully this gives you guys more than enough time to ask me any questions you guys have pertaining to Web3 social media platforms. If you have any questions, please put up your hand. I do see a whole bunch of people requesting the mic. I'm just hoping some of you guys are actually there, not away from console. Let me see if I can pass the mic to the first few people. All right, so I just passed the mic to the first person I saw. That was Ponty. So let's just give him or her a second to connect. If you're there, please turn on your mic and you may ask your question. Ponty, you there? All right, so let's just give Ponty another second to. Sometimes Twitter Space just takes forever to connect. it is what it is. But Ponti, if you're AFK, I'll unfortunately probably have to pass the mic to someone else. So let me know if you're there.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead. You can ask your question.
My question is, how will you build strong relationship with community? And let us know how your project can go.
Okay, thank you very much for asking your question, Ponti. Unfortunately, I am not a project. I work for a cryptocurrency exchange. If you haven't been aware of this, this is an educational AMA. Unfortunately, I'm not a guest speaker for a Web3 project. So unfortunately, I'm not too sure how to answer your question since the question is somewhat invalid. But that being said, the company does have a bunch of different plans and marketing plans, as well as providing new products to onboard new users. We've just gone through rebranding literally last Wednesday, and we've overhauled so many different like services we had. We overhauled the staking, XE staking functions. We overhauled the whole product and the savings functions. We actually have like some like the highest APR available for some of the longer term USDT savings options. So if that's something you're interested, definitely go check it out. I still keep telling everyone my favorite one is the XG Sharkfin one because they actually have the highest guaranteed APR. On top of that, you actually earn more, but that's something to definitely keep in mind. If you do have sizable income and you are interested in jumping into cloud mining, that's something that we can actually provide as well, considering that that is actually not available at any other exchange. It's very unique to XT right now. And I think the reason being is actually the company, we have a few staff at the company who actually used to mine Bitcoin for a long time back in the day. So they're actually very familiar with the whole mining industry. And that's why XT was able to provide this really new, interesting cloud mining service. So if you're interested in like investing in your own mining machine, but you don't want to mine yourself, you don't want to maintain it, you don't want to have to deal with it, you just want to make passive income every month, and and you just want money to like, you know, basically passively airdrop to your XT account, the XT cloud mining service is something to look into. Hopefully that answers your question. We have like a whole bunch of new products and events and activities coming up too. I think there's like, we're revamping the whole ambassador option we have now. So that's something to look into if you're interested. Thank you very much for asking. Let me see if I can pass the mic to someone else. All right, so I passed the mic to someone called Blockchain Queen. Let's give him or her a second to connect. It is Twitter Space. I hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
And data ownership in social media platforms, like compared to traditional Web2 platforms? That's my question.
Yeah, it's a very good question. So long story short, I'm going to answer your first question, right? I'm going to answer security first, and then I'll talk to privacy. So in terms of security, this comes down to the base blockchain they're actually using. So I'll use Lens protocol as an example, right? Because we know for exactly what base blockchain as the development kit they're using, right? And they're using the Polygon one, which is like tested time and true. We don't know which one Friendtech is using right now because we know what they were using up till now, base, right? And that's actually secured and developed by Coinbase, right? But now that they're making their own native blockchain, like we don't know what kind of like development kit they're using. So I mean, I guess I can check this a little bit later, but as right now, I'm not familiar with which development kit Friendtech is using. But we do know that Lens protocol is built on using the development kit using Polygon, right? And they actually have like their zero knowledge proof all dealt with, and that's probably why like Lens protocol is actually trying to integrate ZK rollups right now, right? And in terms of like, so I think the security aspect, it really comes down to like whether like the base layer and the development kit is actually tested, time tested. Did we see any like exploits on the architectural level, on the consensus level with any protocols out there built using the Polygon development kit? No, we haven't seen that yet. We've seen very specific protocols that were built on these blockchains having exploits, but not the base consensus or even the execution layer. So for that, we know it's like time, test, and true. We know that most likely the security is there, right? Is addressed. In terms of privacy, I think this is more like the important aspect of your question, because the bigger concern right now with current Web 2, like Instagram, especially Facebook, I hate to say it, it's probably TikTok too. But what they do is, like, the companies, they can take your data and they sell it to other companies, and then they sell it for research purposes, they sell it for marketing purposes. That's basically why, I don't know if you guys are aware, but that's basically why, like, if you're trying to talk about like buying, shopping for a sofa on Facebook, you actually see more ads on sofas in your browser. Like, I'm no joke, especially you start seeing it like a lot of ads on Facebook. It's ridiculous, guys. Like, and that's basically, there is no privacy. I hate to say this, but this is also the reason why everyone likes to use like Signal or Telegram instant messaging, and no one wants to use, none of my, I'm gonna be honest here. I use Line app. It's another instant messaging, really popular in Japan because it's a Japanese company. I avoid it like the plague when possible, because I know that the company is checking. You don't have privacy there, right? If you're right talking about something that's like illegal, they would actually block your account. And that actually happened to someone I know. So I know for sure that it's actually being observed. There's no privacy there. There's also no privacy. I hate to say it, but there's also no privacy on WeChat, which is the Chinese app, because come on, guys. Big Brother is watching you if you're using WeChat. Maybe the company that's running Line app is observing you, and they report to the Japanese government. And this is why, because the thing is, they're not encrypted, okay? If the police wants information, your chat history through Line app, they go to the Line company and they can get it. I am not kidding, right? I think like WeChat is like a whole nother level of no privacy aspects. So that's why I'm so careful what I write on WeChat. That's why a lot of people just prefer Telegram, because it's encrypted. That's why a lot of people prefer Signal, because it's encrypted. Now, whether like these new like social media platforms are encrypted or not, I'm sure like still like comes down to whether how like secure. That's more of a security issue, right? But in terms of privacy, unless people, like, let's just say, unless you have the keys, right, on FriendTech, you're not able to access these conversations, right? These are exclusive conversations, so you have to actually get the key from someone as an NFT, right? Lens Protocol is the same thing. Like, you are able to actually own your own content. There's no one in the back actually taking your content and selling it to like to marketing companies or research groups, right? So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, this is a really good question. Let me see if I can pass the mic to someone else here. Okay, I just saw the next person. I saw Justin. Sorry, this is the next person on the list. Justin, if you're there, you can ask your question. I do see a few other active people. So if you're not there, I will have to pass on the mic to someone else. But if you're there, you can turn on your speaker and ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
My question is, uh, what are the benefits of properly investing money in your project, and how do you help investors, and how will your project achieve maximum profit in the future?
Okay, thank you very much for asking, Justin. Unfortunately, I'm not a Web3 project. I'm not trying to get money from anyone. This is purely educational AMA purposes for about Web3 social media platforms and their benefits. Hopefully that answered your question, but unfortunately, because the question is a little, it's invalid, I'm not even in a position to answer it. But hopefully that clarifies the situation. Let me see if I can pass the mic to someone else. So I did see Ramsey putting his hand up. Let me see if we're able to connect with Ramsey. Let's just give him or her a few seconds to connect. Okay, that's really weird. Oh, there we go. Yes, so I do see, yep, I see you have the mic. You can turn on your mic and ask your question. Yep, so Ramsey, you should have the mic. I'm not sure if there's lag on your end or not, but if you do have the mic, you just turn on the mic and you can ask your question.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. My question is, ambassador play a very important role in every project. Do you have an ambassador program?
Yes, we do actually. We have. I was literally just um, proof editing and transcribing some of the data of the new ambassador program that we are launching. I believe we have already like a basic ambassador program. We also have like a YouTube related ambassador program for those who make content creation on YouTube. We are also coming out with a very interesting revamping and the whole new copy lead trader ambassador events. I would say call that, I guess you can call that like ambassador program, because in a way you represent the company by being a lead trader, especially if you're, if you're very efficient and professional as a trader. If you're a day trader and you want to take this up to the next level by actually earning extra profit through people who follow you on trades, then that's definitely a lead trading ambassador is something the way you want to go. I believe that might just be disclosed sooner than later. I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be available in the next few days, if not the next 48 hours. I was just looking at it just literally a few hours ago before the AMA, just kind of proofreading some of the English that will be and disclosed soon. So that's something looking forward to, but there are more than one type of ambassador with XT. So it really comes down to like, what kind of ambassador do you want to be? If you're making content creation on YouTube, if you're actually like a day trader and you want to like be able to like profit off people who are copying your trades, or if you're actually like a KOL, key opinion leader in a very particular field related to Web3 blockchain or cryptocurrencies, that's something that we can also have a partnership and you can become an XT ambassador that way as well. So there are many options. It all comes down to what best fits you. There are a few requirements always related to being ambassador for any cryptocurrency exchange, to be honest. So something to keep in mind. All right, wonderful question. Absolutely. Okay, I know there's like a whole bunch of other questions you guys want to ask, but unfortunately I will have to wrap this AMA up. I was actually told specifically last time to wrap up a little earlier to ensure that everything's within a very specified time so that they don't have issues downloading the AMA next time. But that being said, a really huge thankful to everyone who listened and joined today's AMA. I really hope that everyone learned a lot and the significance of Web3 social media platforms and specifically the benefits they'll bring to you. And if you understand this is going to open doors regardless where you are in the world. Even if you don't speak English, no joking. If you understand the benefits and you learn how to actually utilize these new Web3 programs, that will be a big integral part of any big or small company for branding and marketing services. You literally just got yourself a job. And guess what? Everyone who's older than you, they won't have this knowledge. They have to like painstakingly go out and learn it, right? So you guys have the advantage. Take advantage of it. Learn more about it. Definitely look into Lens Protocol. You don't have to use it. I'm just telling you to look into it, right? You can check out like Friend Tech. You don't have to use it, but just definitely go check it out. Use it out. You have nothing to lose, right? And I think there's just so much more that you guys can really get from this. So hopefully you guys learn a lot. Until the next AMA, definitely stay curious and keep learning, guys, all right? We'll have another AMA this Friday for that would be the weekly analysis and report one at the same time. So definitely if you're interested in learning where on earth the market is moving and going, I did mention that if we do break that 65, 66K support, we're going to dip down. But as of right now, let me just take a quick look at right now. I'm pretty sure we haven't broken in it. I think like I did check this morning. We're like 65.4K Bitcoin. We're just holding on. Literally, we're holding on. If we don't break down, if we're gonna stick to 65, we're good. We're just gonna like simmer back up over time. But if we do break down 65, just be aggressive, guys. Anyways, that being said, if you're gonna get to hear my technical analysis and fundamental analysis of the whole week this Friday, same time. Hopefully, you guys have the time to jump into that AMA. And until then, definitely stay curious, guys. Keep learning. Have a good one.